New Year, police share their plan to keep everyone safe.
Plus a more normal day at the airports. Southwest Airlines flights back in the skies, but travelers are still angry about everything that's happened over the past week.
And 7 weeks after a gruesome murder in a small Idaho town, police make an arrest thousands of miles away.
Plus, former President Trump has fought to shield his tax returns for years. Tonight, those forms are now public. We're breaking down what they show.
And later tonight, we've got the inside scoop on Dick Clark's New Year's Rocket Eve with Ryan Seacrest, and a look inside our very own Chicago countdown. Hard to believe we're just 29 hours from the start of the new year. Yeah, 2022.
When you put it in the form of hours, it seems even closer. So Chicago is getting ready to celebrate. Tomorrow, we expect to see big crowds of people ringing in the new year all over the city. Many ready to get out after the last 2 years of pandemic-related celebrations.
The Chicago police say they're ready for the celebrations. Our Christian Picos shares what police have planned to keep people safe.
Safety is the top priority for the Chicago Police Department as the city gets ready to celebrate the end of 2022 and ring in the start of 2023. CPD is bolstering its police presence every night this weekend, especially in popular nightlife districts like River North, as those New Year's Eve parties get ready to kick off.
We're ready for New Year's Eve and all the celebrations taking place across the city.
Confidence from Chicago Police Superintendent David Brown today as CPD hashes out its safety plan with the city getting ready to count down from 2022 to 2023.
Look out for each other as well, and if you see anything suspicious or unsafe, please call 911.
Superintendent Brown says over 1,300 extra officers will be patrolling the city's streets and neighborhoods each night this weekend, including on the CTA, to make sure parties don't get out of hand or turn dangerous.
Officers will be doing everything they can to keep everyone safe, but we need our residents and visitors to do everything they can.
Michael Gherkin and his girlfriend Anika say they are having dinner together Saturday night in River North before hitting some bars. They say to have a plan and to use common sense.
Stick together, make sure that you're not walking alone at night and leaving bars at night alone.
We are not the police, we're just trying to help people feel safe in Chicago.
Volunteers from Violence Interrupters say they will ride the red line from the south side to the loop this weekend to provide extra security for riders.
Talking to people, greeting people, and doing our best to perform outreach services to the high-risk youth that board these trains.
The CTA is offering free rides on its buses and trains starting at 10 p.m. New Year's Eve until 4 a.m. New Year's Day to make sure those celebrating the new year have a safe ride home. We're in River North. I'm Christian Picos, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Community leaders in Chatham and Englewood are calling on liquor stores to close early tomorrow night in an effort to reduce violence on New Year's Eve.
We're asking them to change their hours from 12 midnight to at least 10 o'clock. We're asking that taverns and nightclubs to take and roll their hours back too. But if they choose not to, we're asking them to actually take and hire, double up on their security. Double up on their security so that the community can be protected as well as their customers.
Community organizers say they've been at odds with liquor stores because some have become hubs for loitering and criminal activity.
At Navy Pier, tech checks are underway ahead of tomorrow's big New Year's Eve party. It's back in full force with some 2,000 tickets already sold.
It's going to be great. There's a lot of people showing up. It's almost sold out. A lot of energy in the room. We have a great opening band.
And tonight, Highside is holding its annual event, biggest fundraiser of the year, the Eve of the Eve parties at the old post office. Proceeds go toward the group's scholarship program. It's time for our weather forecast. City looking beautiful. You see healthy, happy 2023.
Hey, look at that out there. Gosh, always weird when you have to start saying a new year number, right?
Sure, yeah. It takes some getting used to, especially when we're in the 20s now. Meteorologist Cheryl Scott's here. How are you doing for tomorrow night? Are you ready to go?
I'm getting nervous.
Yeah, it
I guess I should take my scrunchie off too. There we go. We're so excited, gearing up. It's going to be fantastic, and I know we're going to be talking more about it later in the show. But for those of you getting ready for your New Year's Eve, the weather looking okay, cooperating for the most part, but we are looking at some scattered showers that will be moving in a little bit later in the evening. So closer to midnight, some rain expected to be falling in and across the Chicago area with temperatures into about the low to mid 30s. Outside right now, we're in the low to mid 30s. Woodstock 30, DeKalb down to 30, Midway at 37. Whole lot different from this time yesterday. We're 25 degrees colder. Live Doppler 7 max right now. We're quiet, although Northwest Indiana, we still have some scattered showers here working their way through. We'll leave them in the forecast for the next couple of hours. They will continue to move out and exit. And then we'll start tomorrow off dry, perhaps a hint of sun or two, but mainly cloudy skies will win out for the day. And then later in the evening, close to 6, 7 o'clock, a quick little burst of rain and wet snow showers, not out of the question. And then as we go into the midnight time frame, we're looking at a little batch of rain to quickly skirt on through. We'll think of it as confetti falling from the sky, guys, as we bring in the new year.
I think we prefer rain to snow, but I don't know.
I would prefer rain to snow.
Anyway, it sounds
Yes,
like we're gonna get it.
temperatures above freezing.
Stick around. We're excited to talk about the show tomorrow a
Yes.
little bit. All right. Now to the major development in that murder case that stunned a small community in Idaho for weeks.
Police announced an arrest today. The murders happened in mid-November in Moscow, Idaho, where the victims were all students at University of Idaho. Today, police arrested a suspect some 2,500 miles away in Pennsylvania's Pocono Mountains. He is Brian Koberger. He's a graduate student at Washington State University, less than 10 miles from the murder scene. Police say DNA technology helped identify him as a suspect, and they tracked him to Pennsylvania through his car. ABC's DeMarco Morgan reports.
Listen, Rob, this is a major development in a case that started out with very few leads, leaving a college town in disbelief and shaken to its core. Now with the suspect in custody, authorities are hoping to close in on a motive. 28-year-old Brian Koberger taken into custody by Pennsylvania State Police and the FBI Friday morning. The suspect arrested after a criminal investigation into the brutal killings of 4 University of Idaho students led to Koberger's whereabouts in Monroe County, north of Philadelphia.
These murders have shaken our community, and no arrest will ever bring back these young students. However, we do believe justice will be found through the criminal process.
Authorities received a tip that led them more than 2,500 miles across the country.
This was a very complex and extensive case. We had developed a clear picture over time, but be assured the work is not done. This has just started.
It was back in November that roommates Kaylee Gonsalves, Madison Mogan, and Xander Coronado and Coronado's boyfriend Ethan Chapin were all discovered inside a house off campus, stabbed to death. 2 other roommates, who authorities say were asleep at the time of the killings, were not injured. An entire college town on edge for nearly 2 months, breathing a sigh of relief.
I think it'll be a massive exhale for a lot of people.
In a plea to the public, authorities sought for weeks for any information that could lead them to a suspect or a motive in the case.
This crime has nevertheless left a mark on our university, our community, and our state.
Moscow police still asking for the public's help in coming forward with any information about the gruesome murders. In Los Angeles, DeMarco Morgan, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
An about-face at a Hammond, Indiana hospital. The interim president and CEO of Franciscan Health says it will close its emergency room tomorrow. This comes after the Indiana Court of Appeals granted the hospital system's emergency request. This reverses a judge's ruling last week that ordered the hospital ER to remain open for 9 more months.
Late today, the Illinois Attorney General officially filed a notice of appeal after a Kankakee County judge ruled part of the SAFE-T Act unconstitutional. Attorney General Kwame Raoul is asking the state Supreme Court to reverse that ruling, which blocks the portion of the law that ends cash bail on January 1st. The ruling applies only to the more than 60 counties where that law was challenged.
Tonight, police are looking for the driver who hit 2 people, killed one of them, and took off. This happened last night near 94th and Ashland. Police say a man was pushing another man on a wheelchair on a street when both of them were hit by a 2007 white Chevy SUV. Investigators say one of them was dragged 5 blocks to 89th and Ashland. The man in the wheelchair was taken to the hospital in serious condition. The man who was pushing him died.
5 men charged in a violent attack along the CTA Red Line. This happened Wednesday at the Monroe Red Line stop. Police say the victim was standing at the platform when he was jumped by the men and beaten with a bottle. The accused attackers face several charges, including attempted first-degree murder.
She's being remembered as someone who was loved by everyone. Today, family and friends played tribute to Bradley Police Sergeant Marlene Ritmanek. A memorial service was held for her today. Ritmanek was killed 1 year ago yesterday, responding to a noise complaint at a hotel. Her partner, Tyler Bradley, is still recovering. Her widow, Lynette Stowa, says her heartbreak is enduring.
I'm trying desperately to keep this message positive for my own grief and healing process, for the community's healing, and for Marlene's family and friends' healing.
Stua says her beloved wife loved the police academy and the brotherhood that came with it.
After a years-long fight for financial transparency, we're finally getting a look at former President Donald Trump's taxes. ABC's Elizabeth Scholze has more from Washington.
6 years of former President Trump's redacted tax returns are now public as lawmakers lift the veil on his finances. The Democratic-led House Ways and Means Committee publishing thousands of pages of Trump's tax documents from 2015 to 2020, raising questions about his income and businesses during his campaign and presidency. During the year of his 2016 presidential campaign, Trump claimed a net loss of $32 million, paying just $750 in federal income tax that year and in 2017. Democratic Congresswoman Judy Chu on MSNBC.
He claimed that he was a great businessman leading up to his election. But what this shows is that he had mammoth business losses.
The documents say the former president and first lady paid more than $1 million in federal income tax in 2018 and 2019 combined, but zero in 2020. That same year, the last of his term, Trump made no charitable donations, after giving away just over $500,000 each of the 2 years before. Trump, who has been fighting to shield his returns from the public for years, in a video message today, blasted Democrats.
The radical Democrats' behavior is a shame upon the U.S. Congress.
Now, an IRS rule requires a president's taxes to be audited, but Democratic lawmakers say the IRS didn't start auditing Trump's returns until 2 years after he took office, when they requested the documents as part of a congressional investigation. Elizabeth Scholze, ABC News, Washington.
Residents in Chicago's Pilsen neighborhood are rallying against rising property taxes in their community. They participated in a car caravan to the Cook County building downtown. This group is pushing for a moratorium on late fees or late fee waivers and checks on assessments for errors. The Cook County Assessor's Office says it's looking at reductions made by the Board of Review to determine what changes should be made to ease the property tax burden on residents.
This is what's left in downtown Mendota, Illinois, a pile of rubble after fire ripped through several businesses overnight. Several animals sadly died at a pet store here. Mendota is about 90 miles southwest of Chicago. Our Evelyn Holmes spoke to people working to pick up the pieces after this devastating fire.
The fire that destroyed a popular pet store is still under investigation as the town struggles with the devastation.
We couldn't save everything, but we saved what we could.
Jennifer Sibley and Chandra Kearns are clinging to hope. Only hours after fire raced through their Mendota, Illinois pet store, killing hundreds of their animals. The women were planning on opening a new pet store after recently combining their shops that they owned individually. The store planned to sell rabbits, fish, guinea pigs, birds, and reptiles along with animal feed.
We weren't the normal pet shop. Like you walked in, it was the hometown pet shop, you know, where you got to sit and talk.
The flames erupted late Thursday night in the 700 block of Illinois Avenue in the downtown district of the town of roughly 7,000 residents.
I had a friend call me. I was getting ready for bed, and he said that the shop was on fire. I grabbed my coat and ran out barefoot, got in my truck. I live like 4 blocks from here, and it was already full of smoke and up in flames.
Firefighters from several neighboring areas battled the flames into Friday morning. Crews even demolished a vacant city-owned building to stop the fire's spread. While a few animals were saved, the shop's bird mascots, Lucy and Mango, along with a tortoise named Littlefoot, were among the many animals lost.
To lose stuff like that, it's devastating. It's all your hard work gone. It's your family members. They're family to us. Animals are our livelihood.
Authorities say the apartments above the businesses were also destroyed. No residents were hurt. City officials say that this is not the first fire they've had in their downtown area. Back in August, they had a blaze that destroyed several storefronts. Meanwhile, the owners of the pet store are vowing to rebuild. Reporting from Mendota, Illinois, Evelyn Holmes, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Investigators are trying to figure out what caused this second church fire in suburban Maywood just this week. It started around 6 this morning at First Congressional Church on 5th Avenue. When crews arrived on the scene, they say they found smoke and flames already billowing from the building. No one was hurt. On Monday, New Life in Christ Bible Church in Maywood was also destroyed by fire.
Tonight, the management of a Hyde Park apartment building is responding days after a power outage displaced more than 100 tenants on Christmas Eve. Mac Properties released this statement. It reads in part, quote, Mac Properties has worked diligently to provide relocation assistance to all impacted residents. In total, 137 households, including 181 individuals, were displaced. We're currently sheltering 85 households in local hotels, while others are away for holiday travel or have arranged to stay elsewhere.
The recent weather swings have led to this scene being repeated over and over again in the Chicago area this week. This was the aftermath overnight from another busted water pipe. This time it was in Skokie. Water was spraying everywhere from the building on Gulf Road. We're told that building is unoccupied. Last week's cold, followed by this week's thaw, has caused problems in many homes and buildings.
Well, former Pope Benedict XVI remains stable after suffering a decline in health earlier this week. Today, the Vatican announced the 95-year-old was able to rest well for a second night, even took part in Holy Mass from his room. Diocese of Rome hosted a special Mass in honor of Benedict at St. John Lateran Benedict's Cathedral Church when he was Bishop of Rome.
The hometown club for soccer legend Pele is preparing for his funeral service.
Workers were spotted today moving fences in the field, putting up those big white tents. Pele rose from poverty, become one of the best known athletes in history. A wake will happen in Brazil on Monday.
Pele died after a battle with cancer. He'd been in and out of the hospital in recent months, and fans set up a small tribute to him outside the hospital in Sao Paulo, where he died.
Pele was an international star who helped popularize the sport. Flags outside FIFA's headquarters in Switzerland were lowered today in his honor.
The Illinois man who gained viral fame for lip-syncing songs on YouTube has passed away. Keenan Cahill's manager says the 27-year-old died in a Chicago hospital yesterday. Cahill posted videos of himself lip-syncing in the 2010 years. Katy Perry, 50 Cent, and Ariana Grande all appeared in videos with him. Cahill suffered from a chronic condition that caused his organs to enlarge. He was scheduled to have open heart surgery earlier this month, but it's unclear if that procedure ever happened.
Improvement today from Southwest Airlines after nearly 16,000 flight cancellations in the last week. Flights have been taking off all day, but travelers say they're still frustrated. Stephanie Wade reports from Midway tonight.
After a week of chaos, Southwest Airlines says its schedule should be back to normal today, and that appears to be true. Flights landing and taking off on time with minimal issues here at Midway. But now the problems for passengers, as you can tell from this line behind me coming off of the past week, is finding their lost luggage. The Chicago Department of Aviation handing out stress balls and a free cup of joe, hoping to soften the blow for Southwest customers who have been dealing with quite a headache the past week.
It's been a headache, no doubt. Yeah, it's been a headache. You know, I'm ready to go back home.
The meltdown believed to have left more than 1 million holiday travelers frustrated and stranded across the country, including Virginia Reyes, who's been sleeping at the Las Vegas airport, she says, since Monday, trying to catch a flight back to Chicago.
I feel like I need to go to the doctor and get anxiety medication, you know? I need to go see a therapist because of this. Honestly, that's how I feel. I haven't eaten in 4 days, tired, angry, confused. Nobody's got any answers.
Finally, she was able to fly home today, but her luggage didn't make it.
I just want to go home, take a shower.
The same thing happened to Lisa Sykes, whose luggage was lost flying here from Atlanta.
Yeah, I was originally supposed to be out here Tuesday, and they canceled like 3 of my flights. In the end, they just lost my baby car seat, so it got boarded onto a whole nother flight. So yeah, I'm just sitting here waiting.
In an exclusive interview with Good Morning America, Southwest Airlines CEO Bob Jordan apologizing and promising reimbursements to passengers for their troubles.
We already had a great plan to invest in tools and technology and processes, as we always do, but there'll be a lot of lessons learned in terms of what we can do to make sure that this never happens again, because this needs to never happen again.
Will you fly Southwest again after all of this?
I plan on flying Southwest. You know, they're a good company, but after seeing this, maybe, I don't know.
Well, I'll think twice, and anybody else should think twice ever again before flying Southwest.
And Southwest says the compensation process could take weeks, as could returning passengers their lost luggage. The airline asking people for patience. At Midway, Stephanie Wade, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Stephanie making the holidays brighter for families who face some tough times. The special event today, making Chicago proud.
Later, we head behind the scenes of this year's opening dance number for Countdown Chicago, and check out outside our State Street studio.
Appearance.
I have found the most adorable Channel 7 fan on the planet. It's that little four-legged fella. Look how cute he is.
It's a good-looking crowd out there having fun tonight.
It really is. Thanks for watching the show live. We're streaming on ABC 7. We've got so much more to talk about on this last night of the show for 2022.
We'll be back in just a minute. There we go, looking at State Street out there. We just had a big crowd outside waving.
Yeah.
People are in bigger coats and hats than they were yesterday. Yesterday, you could see people almost looking like they pulled out their spring gear.
Right, it's definitely a little cooler. At this time tomorrow, I'll be 5 Jack and Cokes in, hoping that I can last till Countdown
I thought you were going to do a little weather thing.
Yes, you too.
I thought it was a jacket and coat.
Right, no, that could, right.
No.
You, we're so excited for tomorrow night, 11:25. We'll talk more about it later in this program, but we're ready. We hope you're ready.
We're getting there.
Okay,
so close.
Yeah. I won't have 5 Jack.
24 more hours to prepare. All right, we're getting there. And weather-wise for your festivities, things are looking okay, but we do have a few rain showers in the mix as we go into our New Year's Eve. Right now we're at 36 degrees, a little bit cooler than yesterday, but this is more December weather. 29 DeKalb, Woodstock at 30, Midway 37, Valpo sitting at 38 degrees. And here you can see we're about 25 degrees colder than this time yesterday. We're pretty quiet in Illinois, the exception being a few sprinkles down there in Kankakee, Northwest Indiana. We do have some scattered showers here that have been impacting the area. A few hundredths of an inch of precipitation picked up. Still a few showers in the mix, but they're going to continue to fade and dissipate into the overnight. So we will dry out as the system just off to the south and east of Chicago continues to bring in the rains for parts of Indiana, southern Illinois, all the way into the Great Lakes there, Michigan, continuing up into Canada. But this is slowly drifting its way to the east. So the showers will end. We'll keep them in for the next couple of hours. Into tomorrow morning, we start off with mostly cloudy skies, perhaps a few hints of sun tomorrow, but mostly cloudy. Temps will be climbing upper 30s, low 40s, and then as we go late afternoon and early evening, we're looking at a disturbance that's going to pass on by. This will bring us a quick little burst of some wet snowflakes and rain, pretty scattered and isolated. And then later in the evening, closer to that midnight time frame, we're looking at just like a little batch of rain that will be moving on through. So a quick little burst here of some scattered showers moving in around midnight. But take note if you will be traveling later in the evening home after you ring in the new year, running into some rainfall. This will head off to the east by Sunday. We are dry. Unfortunately cloudy and gray, but temps above average. We're going to start the new year off with highs near 40 and a mild start to the new year. New Year's Eve forecast coming in with temps in the mid to upper 30s and those scattered showers developing later in the evening into the midnight time frame. So just expect a little bit of rain, not really looking for it to interrupt your plans too much. Into Sunday, we're gray on Monday, a peak of sun or two early on before the next storm system moves in later in the evening. Highs there in the mid to 40s. We get even warmer on Tuesday. So let's take you through the next couple of days with our future cast. We just talked about those showers departing off to the east. Tomorrow night, we have that little batch of rain that will be moving on through. Sunday and Monday were pretty much dry, but very late Monday in the evening, the next storm system's evolving back to the south and west, and this is going to pull in warmer air, but also steady heavy rain late Monday and into early Tuesday. There you can see those rain showers, even some rumbles of thunder here with a warm front that will be lifting overhead. We will be very mild on Tuesday with highs getting into the mid to upper 50s again, but with it does come some rain. And then on the back side of this low, colder air starts to move in with some scattered snow showers as we go later into the week by Wednesday and Thursday. So again, the start of the new year, mild Tuesday, 57, and then we crash back down, but back to near normal. Temps there in the 30s with the threat of a few snow showers. Tonight's forecast in the 20s and 30s. Showers south and east coming to an end tomorrow. Hints of sun early on, increasing clouds and a few showers expected during the second half of the day close to midnight. Sunday we're dry. By Monday those showers, and then Tuesday, rain early, some thunder, light snow possible Wednesday into Thursday with those temps dropping into the 30s by Friday. Looks like we can finally fit in a day full of sunshine, and we'll need it, even though it's a little bit cooler. Back to you guys.
Yeah, that will be great. We do need it. Thank you, Cheryl. Making Chicago proud, a party to help families who've been touched by gun violence.
The idea was to make their holiday season just a little brighter. Mark Rivera takes us to that special event.
Mickey and Minnie Mouse, along with dozens of families and loved ones, coming together today at the Salvation Army Red Shield Center in Inglewood, celebrating and creating a community of support and strength.
The house where I was living at got on fire on Christmas Day.
Julio Avila, his wife, and 3 children were put out on the street Christmas Day after a fire ruined their home in Cicero. Today, Avila's 3-year-old daughter finally gets to celebrate Christmas with joy.
I'm grateful that we're still alive, that the fire, didn't catch us sleeping or anything like that, and I'm so happy to see her nice and cheerful and enjoying Christmas,
All of the families in attendance have been touched by violence and tragedy. Andrew Holmes, who lost his own daughter to gun violence, hosting the event to brighten the holiday season that can be so dark and dour for those missing loved ones and facing the unthinkable.
It was a beautiful thing. It's sad as well, emotional, because I miss my son. I wish he could be here.
Janitra Williams lost her son Dion to a shooting in 2019. Hand-decorated plates with images of family members lost to gun violence presented to survivors racked with grief and pain in hopes of providing solace.
It's a club that no one really wants to be in, but unfortunately we're here, so we just make the best of it.
Her surviving 9-year-old son Chase, remembering his brother, comforting his mother, and also showing off some of his dance skills, giving everyone something to celebrate.
He's the one who keeps me going, so I do everything to keep strong for Chase.
Mark Rivera, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Mark was saying it was really interesting to be at that event. It's just a good time. You know, people who need something to lift their spirits.
Exactly. Yeah. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
From the Supreme Court overturning Roe versus Wade to the midterm elections, it was a busy year in politics.
ABC's Karen Travers takes a look back at the top political issues in 2022.
Inflation, abortion, and Russia were the top political issues in 2022. In January, Justice Stephen Breyer announcing he would retire from the Supreme Court. 3 months later, President Biden's nominee, Ketanji Brown Jackson, confirmed by the Senate, the first black woman to serve on the nation's highest court. Russia's war in Ukraine was the top issue for President Biden's foreign policy agenda. The president rallying allies to send financial and military assistance to Ukraine and punish Russia and Vladimir Putin with harsh economic sanctions.
He did what he did because he thought he could split NATO, split Europe, and split the United States. We're going to demonstrate to the whole world, no one can split this country.
Two notable mass shootings in May horrified the nation. 10 black people killed at a Buffalo supermarket, and 19 children and 2 adults killed at Robb Elementary in Uvalde, Texas.
A plague of gun violence that has taken over this country.
The brutal killings pushed Congress to pass significant gun safety legislation for the first time in nearly 30 years.
I do see this as a breakthrough. The bill in and of itself is going to save thousands of lives. I have no doubt about that.
After more than a year and a half of negotiations, President Biden in August signing into law the Inflation Reduction Act, a sweeping nearly $740 billion climate, health, and tax bill. It includes $369 billion in investments in climate and clean energy programs.
The biggest, most important climate bill in the history of our country.
The special committee investigating the January 6th attack on the Capitol holding 10 hearings. The committee concluded former President Trump committed multiple crimes, referring 4 to the Justice Department for possible prosecution. The U.S. shifted away from many COVID restrictions, but in July, President Biden himself tested positive for the virus.
We've been working from home for the next couple of days, and they're feeling fine. Everything's good.
Federal agents raiding former President Trump's Mar-a-Lago club in Florida in August.
The shameful raid and break-in of my home, Mar-a-Lago, was a travesty of justice.
Despite facing multiple investigations, Mr. Trump announcing in November he's again running for president. Republicans took control of the House in the midterm elections, though with a very slim majority after a better-than-expected showing by Democrats on election night.
While the press and the pundits are predicting a giant red wave, it didn't happen.
After inflation, abortion was a top issue for voters in the midterms, a response to the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade in June. Since then, at least 13 states have stopped nearly all abortion services. And before the end of the year, President Biden signing into law the bipartisan Respect for Marriage Act that ensures every state recognizes lawful same-sex and interracial marriages. Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
The Mega Millions jackpot's been rolling over since October.
And it's not just players who won in. Store owners get prizes for winning tickets. Ahead, hear from one Illinois business owner on what he did with his prize money.
Stocks closed lower across the board today as Wall Street wrapped up its worst year since 2008. It was a rough one. Dow Jones Industrial Average slid more than 73 points. NASDAQ ticked down 0.1% to its lowest level since July 2020. 2023, please bring us a better start.
People who receive Social Security benefits will soon get higher monthly payments. Payments will go up by roughly $140 per month starting January 1st. That's to offset inflation. The 8.7% cost of living adjustment is the biggest increase in more than 40 years.
The list of the top charitable gifts of the year is out.
The Chronicle of Philanthropy's annual list totaled nearly $9.3 billion. Bill Gates topped the list. He gave $5 billion to his foundation to help with global health development, policy and advocacy, as well as education.
And several Chicago groups have benefited from one of the other people on the list, Mackenzie Scott. Her gifts to Planned Parenthood, Federation of America, Habitat for Humanity, and the Boys and Girls Clubs of America all made the list.
And 2022 is ending with some lotto fever. It was a big year for the lottery.
Just a little bit. Tonight's Mega Millions jackpot now estimated at $640 million. The jackpot has grown $75 million just in the last few days. And the more tickets that are bought, the higher the jackpot grows. There we go. This is the biggest prize ever offered around New Year's. And it's not just players dreaming of winning big. Store owners get money for selling the winning ticket. One business owner in Huntley, Illinois won a small prize and paid it forward.
I shared with all my employees their hard work. Also, I invest some money into the community in Huntley.
Well, that's good because the store employees are the ones doing all that hard work, you know, selling those lottery tickets.
I wonder if this will get sold again. And remember, Des Plaines, the huge billion-dollar one. You hope tonight's will.
Somewhere nearby would be fun.
We'll read the numbers at 10 here on the air. I've already volunteered you to read them.
Okay.
Because you can make someone's life when you give them the winning numbers. Right? You could do it.
Powerball is.
Right. Coming up, beer that's made in Chicago's Westtown neighborhood, but brewed with the flavors of Mexico, and how the brewery celebrates its heritage.
Plus, the top cities for New Year's celebrations, at least according to one group. So does Chicago make the list? What do you think, Cheryl?
Yeah, Chicago. We're going to have some showers falling tomorrow night around midnight as we ring in the new year. We also have some rain in our neighborhood now. We'll talk about this, the timing, the temps, as we ring in the new year. That's all coming up.
Making Chicago proud, a Westtown brewery that got its start before the pandemic puts a Mexican twist on beer.
Casa Humilde Cerveceria infuses its beer with the rich flavors of Mexico and Latin America. They hold a special distinction of being an all Mexican-American staff.
We tend to go back to our roots, to our memories, try to use ingredients that speak to us.
Two brothers from the city's Hermosa neighborhood are the brewmasters behind Casa Humilde Cerveceria, the only Mexican-American owned and operated brewery in Chicago.
We started in the living room. We turned our living room into a brewery pretty much.
From their humble home, which is what their name means in Spanish, the brothers moved their business to the District Brew Yards, a collective of Chicago breweries in Westtown. Casa Humilde now has about 40 different beers under its belt, including their newest barrel-aged seasonal beer called Tempestad, or Storm.
This particular beer is Tempestad, but it's been sitting in barrels for about a year. There's gonna be a lot of vanilla, toffee, chocolate. We're gonna reinforce those flavors with toasted coconut, untoasted coconut, a little bit of cacao.
All beers at Casa Humilde have names in Spanish, and that's intentional.
People always ask me, oh, what if somebody can't pronounce the name? I was like, well, they can learn.
Like Maizal, our Mexican lager. Maizal means cornfield. We use corn, so again, our inspiration from our culture, maize is very big for us.
What wasn't intentional, the brewery's all Mexican-American staff.
It's just kind of the people that have gravitated towards us and kind of fit well with the team. It is important for us because they can see our vision.
There's not many Latinos in this industry, and just knowing that Chicago has this Mexican-American brand is very exciting.
Just watching everybody's reaction, everybody loves the beer. To tell the story behind each one is even better because now it's not only do people enjoy the beer, but they also love the story behind the beer.
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 Looks good. Beer's not the only thing brewing at Casa Humilde. This year they started roasting coffee that they import from several regions in Mexico. Also have a second location at the District Brew Yards in Wheeling. A few of our coworkers, so Michelle was just telling us in our ear, she has gone to the District Brew Yard.
Self-pour.
Yes. You can get tickets and go to different ones and just experience a lot of brews from Chicago.
That's what's cool, you know.
You don't drink beer.
I do not.
I can tell you're less than enthused by beer.
No, but coffee, sold.
There you go. That works out.
We'll give their coffee a try.
We agree on that.
We'll have to do it on the show one night or something.
We've talked about going remote many places on this show. Maybe you can get it done because it hasn't happened.
We'll do like a week tour somewhere around the suburbs.
Set that up.
Up next, we're talking all things New Year's, from the top celebration plans to what to expect this year at Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve with Ryan Seacrest.
Time to talk all things New Year's Eve.
Yeah, it's really that time. More than 80 million Americans plan to celebrate, according to Wallet Hub. 59% say they plan to celebrate with family or friends, but only 37% plan to eat out or go to parties. 24% plan to celebrate at home. So you're celebrating at home,
I'm
right?
celebrating at home. Only 80 million Americans. I think like everybody would celebrate, but I guess
Well,
not.
I mean, maybe some people take celebrating as going out and doing
Right.
something.
So I'm going to celebrate at home. I'm going to watch Countdown Chicago. That's
Right.
my plan. You are thinking of dinner, right?
We're going to go to dinner, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Do you have plans yet? Where can people see you?
Out of here.
Then you.
We try and do something. Well, for several years, I was doing the New Year's Eve show.
I know.
But
in Whiting, Indiana, with the babushka ladies.
Pierogi ladies,
Yeah.
yes. But I think a lot of people are going to be staying home to watch Cheryl and Terrell.
I hope so.
Val and Ryan, of course, but Cheryl and Terrell open the show.
Yes, and it's back to normal this year, it seems like. I mean, we were close last year, so I think a lot of people
Yeah, but
will be
Omicron
going out.
really came in at the last second, right before New Year's last year. I know it messed with the show a little bit. We've also seen some numbers test the confetti today, and that means only one big test left is left in Times Square today. You know what it was?
What?
Famous ball lit up.
Hey, okay, there it is.
It can display a palette of more than 16 million colors. Crews did a test run up the 130-foot pole atop One Times Square. It looks like the ball went up without any problem. Hopefully, the drop happens without any issues tomorrow night. Though that would make it interesting. Get stuck.
Oh, can you imagine?
What kind of omen is that for 2023 if it were to get stuck on the way
Did
down?
one year. Well, these tests have been happening all week, and we've been showing you. Remember, they did do the letter or the numbers. Michelle, were you here? Was that last week, and the 2 didn't light up? Yeah, one of the numbers didn't light up. And then they did the confetti test, which you thought, come on, it's confetti.
I mean, confetti's going to fall. We know it's going to work.
Everything's working.
Right.
That was a big light switch, too. Did you see it?
Yeah, that's cool.
Jumbo.
That's cool.
You don't need to be in New York to see the celebration in Times Square.
Entertainment reporter Sandy Kenyon has a preview of Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve with Ryan Seacrest.
New Year's Eve magic is in the air.
Tens of millions of people will gather to ring in the new year again with Ryan Seacrest.
It's like the one moment that it seems like everybody in this country is on the same page. It's the one moment we all seem aligned in saying Happy New Year.
Ryan and co-host Liza Koshy are back in Times Square.
This man is an athlete. He is America's most valuable player. What he does is a sport. He's narrating. He's running across town. Like the amount of steps, I was trying to convince him to put a pedometer on his ankle because the amount of steps that he takes is insane all across Times Square.
They've passed the hours in the freezing cold and been soaking wet. Good practice for this year when rain is again in the forecast.
It will change a little bit of the story that we tell, but it really won't. It doesn't really affect me.
The crossroads of the world will look like it did before the size of the crowd had to be restricted due to the pandemic. But the show also takes place at other locations, including for the first time at Disneyland, in segments hosted by Sierra.
Lots of performances there. So 2 West Coast parties and then all the time zone parties.
Yeah.
We could do a 7-hour show. But it's only 6.5.
Keep it to that, please.
Yeah, okay.
The show is called Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve, in memory of the man who led this celebration for so long.
Ryan, I think the time is here. Looked so easy, and now that we're there, we kind of know it's not. But man, did he pull it off, and I do think about that.
Yeah.
Ryan Seacrest has proven to be a most worthy successor.
It's a tradition I grew up with. It's a tradition that people say they're teaching their kids to grow up with. Liza grew up with it.
Yep.
Tune into ABC, watch the ball drop together, and then celebrate.
Sandy Kenyon, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Look at this. Live look from Earth Cam of
Times Square.
Times Square. I'll get it out of
It looks a lot different than it's going to tomorrow. You can tell they're still in the setup phase. But one of the things about going to Times Square for New Year's Eve is I think you have to be in by a certain time and then you can't leave until after it's over.
Yeah,
so it's a real commitment.
Yeah, they line up early. It looks already like it's happening, right?
It's Times Square. It's always happening.
That's cool. Have you ever gone?
I have not. And you know what? My mom, it's always been on her bucket list. I'm like, take someone else, absolutely.
Oh, come on.
That sounds terrible.
What? That is terrible.
I do not
take
want
it back.
to. No.
You take your mom there one year.
Oh, my dad can take her. That's his job. That sounds terrible.
She's going to have a great time. They're going to send you selfies.
Do you want to go?
If I was in New York, I'd go, but I don't think I would specifically travel there.
Right.
Well, I just told you I'm not even going out. I mean, I'm a loser,
Right. Yeah, no,
right?
you'd never go. Yeah. You would never, ever go.
I don't. If my mom wanted to go, I'd go.
Well, that's nice of you.
Yeah. I appreciate your honesty. She doesn't watch this, does she? Your mom? No.
No.
Okay.
Does your mom watch?
Yes, she does.
Oh, okay.
Mom, I would
he'll
take you.
To Times Square.
Yeah, right. It's probably no surprise that New York comes in at the top of the list when it comes to the best cities in the United States. To celebrate New Year's Eve, the Wallet Hub ratings. These are Wallet Hub ratings based on entertainment, food, costs, and safety. Because I'm already questioning the list.
Right. The other cities in the top 5 are Orlando, Las Vegas, San Francisco, and Atlanta. Chicago wasn't too far behind. We came in at number 8 on the list, behind Denver and DC. Really, DC?
I got issues,
DC.
right? Okay, so
what's happening in DC on New Year's Eve?
I mean, I could see Orlando because it's warm. Vegas is Vegas.
Course,
San Francisco is beautiful. Atlanta?
Yeah.
Atlanta?
I mean, even San Francisco's great. You know what? I wonder if that's because wine country's nearby, maybe.
Okay, and we were behind Denver and DC.
Denver skiing. People are going there for the week. I can sort of understand
You
that.
got to go up to the
DC.
mountains. for
DC,
that.
I'm calling something on that. I don't know.
Well, it's wallet. I mean, I guess they had their reasons why, but I don't know.
Thumb on the scale.
Chicago should be in
Maybe
the top.
because it's cheaper. I don't know.
Chicago would be top 3 at most, I think, right now.
Cold here.
That's true. That's true. And I think Alex Judd, our executive producer, she's not here today because her family lives in Atlanta, so I take back what I said if she's watching. You can watch some of the biggest New Year's celebrations in the country on ABC 7. Dick Clark's New Year's Rocket Eve with Brian Seacrest starts at 7. That's followed by a special edition of Eyewitness News at 9. Karen Jordan's going to be anchoring that. And then after that, we head back to New York to watch the ball drop. That's going to happen because they've been practicing. And then Countdown Chicago starts at 11:25. And then more fun from around the country after midnight.
And of course, we can't wait to see Terrell and Cheryl's opening dance number. This is video from this year's rehearsal.
Oh,
so
how long is this
these
video
moves
clip?
are included.
Can we talk under this clip? Okay, so it's a long clip. Cheryl, you're there with us, right?
I'm here.
What is going on here? You guys worked so hard.
Look at all of the dancers.
Right?
We have more dancers in it this year.
That's great.
How long did you practice?
Not long enough.
Oh, I'm sure it's phenomenal.
It goes by like that. and
She's
you're like,
so
"Whoa."
dedicated, though. I bet you've been home
We
at night.
practiced for like a month, honestly, and not
Yeah, but
a
I
lot.
bet I bet you were doing stuff at home at night, on your own, probably in the studio between hits. I mean,
Yeah.
you're dedicated to this.
Basically, when the camera is not, when I'm not doing weather, I'm doing dance steps.
Yeah.
Right. So are these the dancers who will actually be with y'all tomorrow night?
Yes, yes. We have the whole crew there. This is one of our rehearsals where we all got together, which was nice because the past 2 years we really didn't have that luxury of all being in the same room at the same time because of COVID. So finally this year we had everyone together. This was one of our final rehearsals all together.
How did you do
And we're
that
still
then?
learning here as well. I mean,
At this point.
You're constantly making tweaks and everything, right? Terrell
tweaks,
said?
and I mean these guys are busy. Like they have full jobs. They are in charge of a dance crew. So like Terrell and I slip in when they have a few free minutes here and there, and they teach us what we're about to do tomorrow night.
Awesome. Hey, during the pandemic, you said, so did you rehearse separately and then just kind of did it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Over Zoom, you said, right?
One year it was basically Zoom practices. Like we were learning the dance on Zoom, which was so hard. That was Wonder Museum year.
Yeah.
Right.
There are some surprises I heard in the show.
There are some
Always.
surprises.
Wait,
We
what are
always
they?
got to throw in a few Chicago-themed style surprises, so everyone needs to stay tuned for
Ooh,
that.
That's a good hint.
I've heard some things. And we did something new where we asked for people to send videos in. Is that still happening, or did
That
we
is
scrap
still
that?
happening. We got a bunch of viewer videos.
Nice.
We asked people to send their dancing videos, so they will be highlighted on our show as well tomorrow night. Can't wait to feature them. And really, we do this every year so we can, hopefully get people off of the couch in their living room and dance with us as we head into a new year. It's all about bringing smiles and joy, and that's what we love.
Did you send a video in?
I did not, but you know what? I was listening. Ryan Seacrest said he grew up watching Dick Clark. People are going to grow up watching you and Terrell. You may be inspiring the next generation of.
That is hilarious and also so scary to think about.
Very true. I'm sure there's some young dancers at home watching.
Did any of our coworkers send in videos? Do you know? There have to be a few.
Maybe.
No. Okay. I'm just trying to.
Surprise. Everyone needs to stay tuned.
Okay.
But
We're gonna be
yeah,
there.
it's becoming a New Year's Eve tradition. We love it.
We do.
5
I
years
love it.
running. That's
Hopefully
awesome.
everyone loves it.
Oh, they
when
always do,
watch it.
Cheryl. And usually the hashtag Countdown Chicago starts trending on Twitter.
There's a bingo card that circulates.
I was just going to ask the bingo card you can print out that will start.
Yeah, but that bingo card isn't necessarily nice.
Right.
I think it's all in good fun.
It
I mean,
is in good
There are so many
Big
trolls.
Rob makes it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
The troll. If they're tweeting out hashtag Countdown Chicago, they're at home watching
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So I always thought, okay, you can rip on us all you want. You're watching the show.
They are, and they're taking some sips while they're watching the show,
Clearly,
playing that
clearly.
bingo card.
You may be on the bingo card, Liz. Will we
She
be at
has
Drogo?
been,
I
for
know.
sure.
and
Maybe
they're
I'm
gonna
a
be-
surprise appearance. I
Yeah,
don't
right.
know.
Whoa, mind blown. Mind blown.
With us.
Well, you got the holiday forecast up right behind you.
We do.
All right.
We're looking at a few showers. We're going to rain down some confetti at midnight in the form of some liquid precipitation. As we ring in the new year, temperatures will be in the 30s, and we are looking at some rain moving in. A quick little bout of rain showers. Outside right now, it feels a little bit cooler out there, but the motto, healthy, happy 2023. Our last newscast, or our last day on the air for this year. I mean, tomorrow, New Year's Eve, and then next year, it's right around the corner. Temperatures right now, upper 20s and 30s, Midway at 37, O'Hare at 35. We are 20, 25 degrees cooler in a lot of locations this time than yesterday. Yesterday, we were near 60 degrees. Live Doppler 7 Max right now. We're cooling off. We do have dry conditions here in Illinois, some scattered showers here in Northwest Indiana. This has been the trend over the past couple of hours. We're holding on to just a few more showers as we go overnight. This rain and this shield and this band of rain will slowly drift farther off to the east, so we'll dry out area-wide. Tomorrow morning, some peaks of sun into the afternoon, but mainly cloudy skies again. Temperatures tomorrow in the mid to upper 30s to near 40 degrees. We're looking at a quick little burst of some wet snowflakes and some light drizzle as we go into the early evening here, but closer to about 10, 11 o'clock and midnight, we'll have a batch of some rain. A little disturbance is going to move on through. Temps mid to upper 30s, so looking at mainly rain here, but when you're heading home from your New Year's Eve festivities, plan accordingly for some rain falling. By Sunday morning, we are dry but gray. We stay cloudy and a little bit gloomy to start off the new year, but our temps will be above average. So over the next couple of days, temperatures highs in the 40s. The average high is 33 degrees. So we're above that. And we are tracking a pretty powerful storm system as we go into the new year. Tomorrow, it's just a little disturbance that's going to move by very close to the midnight time frame. There you can see it just racing on through. As we go into Sunday, we're pretty quiet, but our eyes are focused back to the south and west. An area of low pressure is going to get going, and we'll be in the warm sector of this on Monday into early Tuesday. This is going to bring in some steady, heavy rain very late Monday into early morning Tuesday, even some thunder here expected. So Tuesday morning, plan for a wet morning commute. A lot of people going back to work Tuesday morning. It's going to be messy out there as well as windy. We'll have some dry time as we go late Tuesday, but then into Wednesday on the back side of this, we could see some scattered light snow showers moving in. So our temperatures will be taking a dive from 57 on Tuesday down to 38 on Wednesday. For tonight, those showers ending south and east. Tomorrow, the last day of the year, highs near 40 degrees. Some showers late 45 on Sunday. Warm, mild Tuesday, turning cooler late next week. We'll be right back.
Crews putting the final touches on the Enjoy Illinois float for this year's Rose Parade.
It's the first time the Illinois Office of Tourism has had a float at the parade. The float features state attractions and destinations from Lincoln's Tomb and Route 66 to Navy Pier and the Bean. There will also be live music from American Idol finalist and Illinois native Grace Kinsler. You can watch the parade Monday morning at 10 right here on ABC 7.
It was a pleasure doing the last 7 p.m. with you
So
of the
fun.
year.
That's it for the year.
Yeah, we'll see you next year. We had some people out there having a good time. Thanks for watching. We'll be back at 10.
Great.
Let's do it.